Hello and welcome to ScamWATCH, your current source of news, tips and information highlighting the scams and frauds impacting seniors, families, businesses and consumers on Vancouver Island. I'm Rosalind Scott, President and CEO of the Vancouver Island Better Business Bureau.
And I'm Constable Catherine Colthart of the RCMP Federal Financial Integrity Section in Victoria. This week we are talking about bait and switch scams, what they are, the differing types of scams, and how to protect yourself from becoming a victim.
Bait and switch scams are a form of advertising and sales fraud. Basically, customers are baited through advertisements that promise a product or service at a low price. When the customer tries to purchase the product or service, they often find that the item is unavailable. The salesperson then switches or offers up another item that is different and much more expensive. Bait and switch scams can be very difficult to identify because it may just seem that the salesperson is upselling the product or service. Upselling is a perfectly common and legitimate sales practice. However, there's a very fine line between upselling a product and intentionally misleading a consumer into a bait and switch scam.
Almost every industry has unethical companies using bait and switch tactics. In some cases, bait and switch scams are simplified to one price being quoted for a product or service and another higher price actually being charged. You are baited into buying the item. Then when you go to purchase it, the price has been switched on you to something more expensive. There are thousands of different bait and switch scams out there. Today we're just going to talk about the most common ones.
So let's look at the components of the original bait and switch scam. This occurs when you see an item advertised in, say, a newspaper ad. You go to the store to purchase the item and find they don't have any left in stock. Then the salesperson shows you another, similar but different and more expensive item and offers it to you for a reduced price. If this in fact is a bait and switch scam, in reality the store didn't have any of the product or service in stock or very little of it. The intent was to lure you in and offer you a different consolation item.
Some travel agencies have been known to use bait and switch tactics. How often do you see a poster in a window of a travel agency with travel packages posted at a really low cost? Then when you ask about the offer, you find the package is no longer available or the price quoted is before taxes and fees are added. You are then offered another package at a higher rate, but at a lower rate than the true price of the advertised one. Some hotels also use bait and switch tactics when they advertise one low price to book a room. But when you pay, you are charged a resort or cleaning fee you did not know about. It is important to note that it is legal for a travel agent to advertise a base price on a hotel room, but it should be posted somewhere that the price does not include extra fees.
Another version of a bait and switch scam has been used by unethical carpet cleaners. They may advertise that you can get your rooms cleaned for, say, $60 a room. You book the appointment, the carpet cleaner arrives, and then partway through, or when they're nearly finished, but your carpets are very wet and soapy, and they haven't finished yet, they tell you that it's going to cost a whole lot more. The excuse would be, your carpets were really dirty, so they had to use products and services that went beyond the offer. Or the offer was for certain square footage of room, and your rooms are bigger than that. Or the offer only applied to 1 or 2 rooms, and you, say, are having 4 or 5 rooms done. Regardless, you were baited by the promise of one price, and partway through, it was switched out on you.
The premise of all bait and switch scams are similar. We've heard about them also happening with apartment rentals. In this case, the realtor or landlord tells you the apartment you are interested in has been leased or rented out, but that there is another one available that is smaller or more expensive. Job postings. Employers have been known to advertise a well-paid job opening, but then inform applicants that the advertised job has been filled and offer a different position at a lower pay. Auto deals. Car lots sometimes advertise cars for bargain prices, but when you arrive at the dealer, the car is sold out, and of course, more expensive models are all that are left in stock. Mortgage rates. Ridiculously low mortgage rates might be advertised, but in reality, when you go to apply for the mortgage, the advertised rates are no longer available and have increased dramatically. Contractors. Unethical contractors are often hired after providing a low quote or estimate, but once they start the work, they discover additional work or issues that need to be done, or then inform you of extra costs that were not included in the original estimate. Really, bait and switch scams can be done by anyone who advertises in any form, whether on site, in print, on TV, radio, or the internet. A common online shopping or auction version of bait and switch is when a product is described as one thing, but what the buyer receives is different. For example, the item might not work, be worse quality, or be an entirely different brand.
So how can you avoid getting caught up in a bait and switch scam? Especially since we've said they can be difficult to detect. You may just think you're a victim of circumstance. Well, the best way to protect yourself is to practice smart shopping habits. Always know that if an advertisement or deal sounds too good to be true, it always is. Do your research. Make sure you know the true value of the product or service. Comparison shop. If one business or supplier does not have an advertised product, there are often other ones that will price match the sale of the exact same item. Always read the fine print. No matter where the advertisement is posted, be sure to look for the fine print or an asterisk that outlines the specific conditions attached to the deal.
Yes, you will also want to ask for a rain check. If an item is out of stock while it is being advertised at a specific price, ask for a rain check. Do not be pressured by aggressive salespeople. If a salesperson is using high-pressure, aggressive sales tactics to try to get you to buy a product or service, simply leave the store. Watch for upselling. Be aware of when someone is trying to upsell you. Unless you really want the more expensive item and you know that it is reasonably priced, don't buy it. Understand refund and exchange policies. Before you purchase an item different from the one in the original ad, be sure you understand the refund and exchange policy. Make sure the item is returnable. That way, if you have been caught in a bait and switch trap, you aren't stuck with a product or service you do not want.
So how can the Better Business Bureau help? The best thing we can do is provide consumers with a list of trustworthy and ethical businesses to deal with. We have an extensive database of businesses. They're all rated and have a business review, so you can look and see who you're going to be doing business with. We encourage consumers to look for an accredited business. Those businesses have agreed to abide by the Code of Advertising. This means that they would not use bait and switch tactics. And finally, if you think you've been a victim or you've come across what you think is bait and switch advertising, if you let us know, we will challenge the business. We will ask them to prove that it's not bait and switch. If they're able to do so, everything's fine. But if not, we will report that on the business review so we can warn other consumers.
From the police perspective, it is sometimes difficult to prove that a business intended to mislead you, but businesses that do this regularly tend to leave a trail of disgruntled customers. The BC Consumer Protection Agency has a very useful website that will tell you about business practices and the Consumer Protection Act. Check it out to get more information.
Remember, the best way to protect yourself from this or any other scam or fraud is to stay informed, use your common sense, and if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
For more information on scams and frauds and crimes impacting your region, be sure to visit the BBB serving Vancouver Island and your local police websites.
And if you have a personal story or scam or fraud you'd like us to share on ScamWATCH, please send the information to info@vi.bbb.org.